No, no, no. Right, so here's the thing. When I walk on now, I land here on this red spot. Now, I look out at you, you look out at me. Now, I am sure right now, going through your mind, quite a long list of different things, of priorities. And I'm pretty sure I'm not one of them. I can guess, probably, yes, you, sir, you're probably thinking of tonight, and it's summer in the city, and what you're going to do on a Saturday night. Some of you, maybe over here, you're thinking, what I'm going to eat tonight for my dinner, perhaps. And somebody, perhaps at the back, is just waiting for the next coffee break. So, basically, it's true, you don't owe me a thing. So me, as a presenter, standing here, what have I got to do? I have to somehow get you engaged. Somehow, I have to keep you along with what I'm saying. Okay? When I was young, in fact, when I was younger, I was very much like many of you. I simply, my confidence levels was probably not too high at all. I felt the same vulnerabilities as many of you guys here. And I just wish I had, at that time, somebody who could kind of give me some ideas, give me some insight, give me some tips on how to present. It was something that I was passionate about, I still am, something that I really enjoyed, and something that I really wanted to perfect, but I just didn't have anyone who could help me. So I started to think about it a little bit more. Then I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if somehow I could transform way back in time and meet my previous self. So me now meeting me then. That would be kind of mind-blowing. However, what I would do, I would give myself lots of tips, insights, and help to make myself a better presenter. Now, what I'm about to do is share with you some of the things that would come up in that conversation. Now, the first thing probably in that conversation, once we've got over the shock of meeting myself in two different time zones, probably I would take a few selfies just to see how that would look on social media. Maybe, I don't know, Snapchat, the swapping face thing perhaps. See how that goes. So, just a few things, in fact. Very, very important indeed. Again, when you look at me and I come on stage, probably one of three things is going through your mind about me. So maybe the first one is, you look at me, you look how I'm dressed, and you're thinking, yes, I kind of like this guy. This guy might be a resource. He might be helpful. He seems to know what he's talking about. We'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of interested, and I'm going to keep going along with it. All right? Second one might be the one hopefully you're not in at the moment. You don't like me. You don't like the way I'm dressed, how I sound, what I look like. You're not kind of intrigued to hear what's coming next, and it's not going well at all. Or perhaps the third one here, which probably most of you are kind of connected with in some way, where you don't really care. Okay, so really, from here, this is where most of you are, I have to do things to kind of bring you over to this side, to the good side, to the sunny side. I've got to get you over here somehow. Now, over the next, say, 15 minutes or so, I'll share with you a few things. I'm already doing some of them right now, which will help you when you need to present something to a crowd, maybe to a small crowd, maybe in a future career, maybe as a presenter, perhaps, maybe a host of a conference or something similar. So here are a few things that you have to do. Trust is such an important thing that you need as a presenter from your audience. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen straight away, all right? So I can't just click my fingers, stand here, and get my audience to trust me. I've got to kind of do things to get you on my side, as I say, coming over to the sunny side. Now, I'm doing something right now that is trying to build up gradually that trust. Can you guess what that is? Any ideas? No ideas. Okay. That's right. There's actually one part of the body that your brain actually has more connections with than any other part. What is that? It's actually your palms of your hands. The palms of your hands. So basically, you really need to let your audience see those palms. Okay, so not behind here. Okay, not in your pockets. Okay, so let them in some way, let your audience see the palms of your hands. I'm also doing another movement here. I'm letting you see this area here. This area here is kind of like the trust area. It's the trust area. Once this is open, once this is free, once you can see my stomach here, then gradually, these are small signals that I'm sending to you, and hopefully you're picking them up to help you trust me. Okay? It's not just this. If you just come on stage and you do this and you tell a whole lot of lies, that doesn't mean that people will trust you. Okay? So it's just small things you can do. Manage nerves. Now, I'm sure every single person that has stood on a TED stage or a TEDx stage feels nerves. When you have to present in public, everybody feels nervous. Even the people that are professionals, they've been doing it for years and years, they will feel nervous. If you don't feel nervous, you're not alive. You're certainly not alive at all. So everybody has their own kind of way of dealing with it. The way I deal with it, I often kind of visualize. I visualize in my mind how the little kind of play is going to play out. And that helps me. I'm a kind of visualizing kind of guy, and that helps me a lot when I need to step onto the stage. Another idea as well is what I do. I try to think just before I step on, just behind there, just before 5 minutes ago, before I stepped on this stage right now. In my mind, I was thinking of kind of warm, good, fun feelings. And that could be anything. That could be perhaps my wife, my kids, thinking of them. One speaker I knew, what he used to do, he had in his pocket, he had a picture of his family. Him and his family. A great, fantastic picture. He would look at that. That would make him smile. That would make him feel good. It's all about feeling good. Feeling good just before you come on stage and then going for it. A lot of people ask me, or a lot of people tell me, in fact, after they've come off stage and we chat and we talk about how it's gone, they say to me, look, Peter, I was feeling good. I was rocking. After the first 2 minutes, things were going my way. But what you have to do, as you can see, as soon as I came on, you made a snap judgment about me. So 2 minutes into your presentation, you've lost that 2 minutes. So you really need to basically, as soon as you come on, you need to bang, boom, you need to be in the zone there and then. So what you have to do, you shift it back off stage and you prepare there. You can prepare your body. Mick Jagger, do you know what he does just before he goes on stage? Well, he literally, I'm not going to do it now, but I'll show you pretty much this is what he does. He starts on one side backstage, he runs across to the other and does the same thing, back and forward for about 2 minutes non-stop. And that gets him ready. That gets his body ready. That gets his voice ready as well. Getting your body ready is so, so important. Now, think when you've got a cold, for example, okay, how does your voice sound? It sounds bad, sounds croaky, doesn't sound good at all. Summertime, okay? You're in Dalmatia, for example, having fun on one of the islands, enjoying yourself, you're suntanned. How do you feel when you speak to people? You feel good. In your voice, they can hear that as well. Your body feels good. Your mind feels good as well. So literally what I'm trying to say is, before you come on stage, you really need to get into that kind of feel-good zone. And whatever kind of trick you've got to do that will really help you, okay? Some people have this kind of little song, this little kind of theme tune in their mind that they play, kind of gets them going. And whatever tune you have, whatever tune helps you, that's the one you need to go for. Now, performance, okay? A lot of people ask me, look, Peter, is it a performance when you present in front of a crowd, when you host, for example, or pitch, for example? Or is it kind of natural? Is it acting? What is it? Well, let me tell you right now, standing here in front of a group just like you, that is not a natural thing to do. If you met me afterwards, we had a chat, I would not speak like this to you face to face. So this is a very unnatural environment right now. But let me tell you this. I want you to think back to your very first date. Can you think back? Think back to your very first date. I'm looking at a few of you. Maybe that time has not come yet. Or because I can see some faces. Some of you are smiling. I'm not sure whether that's because you had a very bad date or you haven't had one at all. However, imagine you're going on a first date, okay? So imagine, how do you prepare yourself? How do you feel? What do you want to achieve? You put on nice clothes. They're your clothes. Nobody else's. They shouldn't be. You put on your own clothes. You do yourself up, makeup. You want to look good. You want to impress. The things you want to say, you want to impress the person as well, don't you? Yeah? You want to feel good. You want them to be impressed with the overall package, okay? So you're not acting. You shouldn't be acting. You're not acting when you're going on a date, but what you're doing is you're being the best you can possibly be at that particular time. And that's simply what this is here. It's kind of being kind of like the best you can be right here in this kind of theater live moment in front of a crowd. There aren't many moments in life nowadays where we get a chance to have focus. You're focused on me. I've got 20 minutes. I'm trying to get about 20 minutes of your time right now. Millions of things you could be doing, millions of things that are trying to grab your attention online, the digital landscape. But hey, right now, it's me and you. And I've got your attention, and I have to keep your attention. So is it a performance? I would say kind of. Okay? Is it about being you? Definitely. Okay? So being the best you can be. Now, as I'm talking, I'm sure you're looking at my face, but probably more so you're looking at my arms. These are the things, and the hands, as we said earlier, the palms. Poker players, all right? You ask any poker player, any professional poker player, what he will look for, even more than just looking at the face and the expressions in the eyes and the facial features, he'll look at the hands. He looks at the hands. Okay? So your arms really do, and your hands, and the way you move really do help the words and phrases that you spread. Okay? So it's very important to match them with what you're saying. What I tell a lot of people that I help a lot of professionals, startups, to gain investment, to help them with their pitches, or just professionals who want to do just that, have that edge, a little bit more edge when selling, when they have to sell something, okay? In front of the mirror, okay? I've spoken to myself so many times. I have. I suggest some of you have already, in another sense. However, speaking to yourself in front of a mirror really, really does help. Okay? It really, really does help, because you not only see yourself, you hear yourself, and you see how you move with every phrase you use as well. Okay? Now, the more you move your body with the phrases that you're sharing, okay, the more confident you will be, and you remember it more as well. What we tend to do when we put together a presentation, and we're all guilty of it. We put a presentation together, we've got the words sussed out, we know kind of word for word, phrase for phrase, how it's going to run and what we are going to say. However, what we do is we neglect probably the most important thing, and that's how we deliver what we have to say, okay? It's the emotional part. It's the emotional connection that I'm trying to do right now just by talking about the things that I'm doing to get that emotional connection with you this afternoon. Stance, how we stand. Now you can see I'm standing like this. I'll just do something for you. If I put my legs together just like this, Okay, what happens? I'll tell you what happens. I'll show you what happens. My bottom tends to go forward. It just does. Yours would as well. And also my stomach then starts to go forward as well, because that's how are you laughing at that? And then my shoulders kind of relax as well, and then I get into this kind of, and then what will happen if I stood here for 5 minutes like this, okay, I would probably topple over in the end, okay? So that's not good at all. So very important indeed to especially maybe people that haven't had too much experience of standing in front of a crowd. Stick, stand, okay? Keep these steady. You keep these legs steady, stuck to the floor, and you use what I was saying earlier on about using this area, open area, and your palms, and talking like this. Then you seem to have more credibility. You look like you seem to have more authority as well. Once you start to get more experience, and then you can start to move around with purpose. Okay, so you can go to maybe one side of the stage and then talk about one certain thing or issue or aspect, and when you're finished there, then you can just sort of move to the other side of the stage and then start talking about something different here. So as you start to get more experience, you can start to kind of play around a little bit more as well. And something else which is very, very important indeed, unpredictability, okay, is a very good thing when you present, when you're doing a presentation, okay? As soon as you become predictable in the way you sound, in the way you stand, in the way you speak, in everything that you're sharing with your audience, it then starts to become boring, okay? So you will remember certain things of what I'm saying right now, okay? So in, let's say, a week, 2 weeks' time, a lot more things you will forget. But you will probably remember a few more things. So the more things that I do that are unpredictable, that are different, that are kind of, he did something different. He actually went to this side of the stage. He spoke to somebody in the front, for example, or he ran up and down on the side there, or he made a joke, for example. These are the small things that you remember, and these are the things that our audience needs to connect with in terms of the emotion. Okay, it's how you feel. Okay, it's how you feel. Silence. Every great speaker really knows how to use silence, okay? Silence, let me tell you one thing. In the room, okay, confidence, people that are very, very confident, all pretty much have one thing in common, okay? What is that? That's their breathing pattern, the way they breathe. It's a very calm, soft breathing pattern. And these people know they don't have to keep speaking. They know they can be calm, cool. They can use the silence. Whenever you see a TV debate, a political TV debate, for example, the politician that will kind of, at the end of the night, when it's all finished, the media will be talking about the ones that do well. They'll be speaking about the ones that were calm, were cool, that didn't have to speak every time. We look at people like Obama. Fantastic ways of using those pauses and the silence. Using pauses, we simply don't use enough pauses in our speech. If I ask you now, have you ever kind of looked or listened to the way you speak? Okay, most of us probably haven't. Okay, I suggest a very good recommendation. I suggest the next time you do a presentation, even if it's something small, maybe something bigger like this, I suggest you film yourself. The only real way of getting your audience or you understanding exactly how your audience sees you and hears you and feels what you have to say is by filming it. And you can do that with your smartphone. You can do it with a camera, something professional, as I say, just a kind of cheap little smartphone, and just record yourself. And then afterwards, critique yourself. Have a look. Look at the things you can improve. The video of this, I'll be looking at, when this is ready, when it's on YouTube, I'll be looking at it. I'll be looking at the things that I can improve on, the things I can do better. So silence, the pauses, very important indeed. Two main things, pauses. They give a chance for you to digest the information you're sharing, okay? So imagine if I have a lot to say and I kind of squeeze that into you, okay, that's hard work for you guys. You have to kind of digest that. You have to think about it. You have to kind of agree with it or not agree with it, whatever you want to do with it. And then you have to go on and listen to another chunk. So remember that. Whatever you do, think about how your audience hears your phrases. Keep them short. Keep them concise. Throw in the pauses. And if that means cutting out a good 25% of what you have to say, you cut that 25% out. Because you will remember, your audience remembers more when they're digestible chunks, easy chunks to chew on, and they're chunks we can all understand easily. I just want to make it easy for you as an audience to understand my messages. And it's really difficult to do that if I just kept talking and keeping it flowing all the time, throwing messages at you everywhere. Okay? Now, your voice. Now, if we talk about sound, okay, so think about a movie, all right, millions of pounds, millions of dollars spent on big blockbuster movies, okay, and the budget for the sound, for the kind of the musical score of a film, probably just a small percentage. However, if you ask any producer, what is the most important part of a film to tap into the emotions of the people watching the film, he or she will always say, it's the music, it's the sounds that come out. And it's the same thing when you're presenting, okay? It's the same thing. If I was to keep speaking in a tone just like this one and just keep doing this in this way, after a certain amount of time, I'm sure you would all fall asleep. You would walk out that door, grab a Red Bull, and relax outside, and you wouldn't listen to me anymore. So it's really important that you have that variety in your speech, the variety in the words you use. Keywords are very important in today's world online, and it's the same thing in your speech. You have to look at what you say. You have to pick out those keywords, the messages you want to highlight. Okay, and you use that with your voice. Speaking in an environment just like this one, what I've learned to do, and a lot of people have done that as well, they bring their voice slightly down. Bringing your voice down, deeper, actually gives you more credibility. There is no politician on earth, well, maybe there is, certainly not in Croatia. Can you think of a Croatian politician who has a very high voice? Probably not. Politicians are not voted for with high voices, okay? So it's bringing your voice down. When you bring your voice down, it actually gives you more credibility and more authority, okay? So think about your voice. Don't make it too different from your natural voice. And let me tell you, ladies, you're in luck because you actually can manipulate your voice a lot easier than other people. To finish up now, I'll leave you with one thing, okay? If there's one thing that makes you different from everybody else, if there's one thing that's going to give you the edge you need to present well, to move you forward in your careers, if there's one thing, it's your communication. It's how you communicate. If you invest in it, if you think about it a little bit more, and spend some time to try to polish it and keep it going, I'm sure you will hit the target of where you're going. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.